Good morning. In my former church in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, we had a kindergarten program in the church, and the director of that program, Kathy Stone, walked to my office one day. It was graduation day, and she asked if I would give her a reading from the Bible that she could use that would be appropriate as these kindergartners were completing their program of study there and preparing to transition into the first grade. So I flippantly said to Kathy, though she did not know I was being flippant, Psalm 137. Read Psalm 137. It will make quite the impression. And then she walked out in gratitude, and I returned to my work at my desk, anticipating her returning at any moment. I grew nervous as we were approaching the hour of the graduation ceremony. Nervous because I wasn't serious about the selection of Psalm 137. I was just about to get up from my desk and go and find Kathy and say, Kathy, I was kidding, don't read that, when she is now in the doorway of my office. She's as white as anyone I've ever seen white. He is concerned. She shook up. She says, Reverend Hood, I don't think you gave me the right passage. Kathy, why? What's wrong with Psalm 137? She said, there's a passage there in Psalm 137 that talks about the anger of Israel being such that they take the ankles of their little infants and they swing the children and dash their heads against a rock. Dr. Hood, I can't read that for a graduation ceremony. I got you, Kathy. And then I gave her an appropriate passage. But what I want to share with you this morning is that there are troubling texts in the Old and the New Testament. Texts that we would rather not be there, and this is certainly one of them. Israel is in captivity in Babylon. They are being provoked by their captors. Their captors are making fun of them. And in their rage and in their hostility, they say, happy would be the day that we take your little ones by the ankles and swing them around and dash their heads against the rock. Psalm 137, look it up. It is a troubling text. And many times, as people in a faith community, we want to hear only the positive from the Scriptures. And so we find these kind of texts difficult, and we like to walk on by, because if we don't, we stumble over them. I want to suggest to you today that troubling texts such as Psalm 137 should not be passed by. Stumble over them. What I mean by this is that in real life, as we are walking along a pathway, if we stumble, usually we fall down. And after we have landed on the ground, when we look up, we find that we're looking in a different direction. Isn't that true? Well, when you come across a difficult text in the Bible, particularly in the Old Testament, stumble over them and allow yourself to fall, and then look around and see it from a fresh perspective. When we look at Psalm 137, happy shall they be who take your little ones and dash their heads against the rock, we think, who could utter those words? We're looking in one direction. Who could possibly say those words? But if we deal with the text, allow it to trip us up, and we stumble and fall to the ground and look, we see it from another perspective. Is there anyone out there in the world who could be offering these words back to us? Is there anyone who looks at my life and they are angry at something that I've done? It's some brokenness that I've participated in, some hurt or woundedness that I have given to them by my own decisions, who are secretly saying in their heart, happy will be they, Doug, who takes your little ones by the ankle and dashes their head against the rock. As we're sitting there on the ground, having stumbled there over this text, we ask, is there anyone who could say that about us? And then we are reminded that the line that separates good from evil runs right through the middle of every one of us. We recognize that we have hurt someone, caused harm to someone, and they are angry at us. And then that begins a new, fresh walk with Christ. It begins when we say, oh God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Thank you being with you on Sunday morning.